This meeting of foreign ministers was held here in Cyprus. That's because Cyprus holds the presidency of the European Council. It was a difficult position for Cyprus to find itself. That's because while it's supposed to be the independent voice steering the EU towards decisions, it at the same time was seeking a bailout due to its exposure to Greek debt. Now, Ireland is due to hold the presidency of the EU also next year, just as it's trying to extricate itself from a programme. For Ireland, it had a twin-pronged strategy on trying to reduce its debt. One related to Anglo-Irish promissory notes, the other was trying to lower the cost of pumping in money to pillar banks like Bank of Ireland and AIB. Now, this was an informal meeting of foreign ministers, and no big decisions are taken at those types of meetings. Yet this was very important for Michael Noonan for a number of reasons. The first being, you don't always have the chance to have the head of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, the head of the ECB, Mario Draghi, and 26 other finance ministers all in the same room. And it allows you to find out what people's positions are, and if needs be, draw in some support and apply pressure on an individual who isn't supporting the way you're looking at things. Really, it was Anglo-Irish which was the main focus for Michael Noonan at this meeting, and we first began to think there might be something cooking when an executive board member of the ECB, Yorgos Musin, suggested that the ECB was working extremely hard and intensively on the promissory notes deal. Now, the ECB had been reticent about securing a deal, so to hear that did give an indication that something was happening. We knew that the principle had been conceded by EU leaders way back in June, that there needed to be a deal on Irish debt to make it more sustainable, but now the ECB was explicitly saying that. The following day, Michael Noonan came out and said that the ECB was more eager than ever before to do a deal, and so the game was on. He spoke about the talks really intensifying over the next 2 weeks, and he hoped that a deal could be done before December's budget, but at the same time he said there were still difficulties, and that if it had to be into next year, he'd prefer to have a good deal rather than a bad deal. The real deadline for us is next March, when Ireland is supposed to cough up another €3.1 billion as a result of that Anglo promissory payment structure. So what's going to happen next? Intensive negotiations, and also in parallel still trying to secure agreement on lowering the cost of having the bailout of AIB and Bank of Ireland. It's going to be very, very intense. We won't know the detail of the deal until it's done. We can't judge it until it's actually been completed, but certainly it was a significant step forward, this meeting in Cyprus.